This is Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque. 17 years on air and online, helping you succeed in buying, selling, and investing in property. The best real estate strategies out there, just for you.
Welcome to Real Estate This Week. Hi again, I'm Stephen Gasque, and I'm so glad you're here as we look at one of the most challenging parts of real estate, selling one house and buying another at the same time. What comes first, selling or buying? And how do you figure out what to do and when to do it? Great questions that our next guest can answer because she helps clients do it all the time. Joining us now is Pat Vredevoogd Combs, the past president of the National Association of Realtors and the past president of the Michigan Realtors as well. Pat is with five-star real estate leaders in Rockford and Traverse City, Michigan, and she's been helping her clients buy and sell properties for more than 50 years. Pat, welcome to Real Estate This Week.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
I am so glad you're with us. So tell me, how's business in Michigan?
Well, I think business is going really well. We're just beginning our spring market. So the sun's shining and it's warming up, and therefore houses are selling and people are putting them on the market.
Oh, well, that's great to know. And so, Pat, I've done a lot of shows about buying homes and a lot of shows about selling homes. But there's one big scenario that I've sort of neglected, and that is people who are selling one house and immediately buying another. And I'd like to ask you about that, beginning with the big question: what comes first, listing your house or house hunting for your next place?
Well, that's a good question because I think most everybody wants to know that answer. And I think that the whole scenario stems around the conundrum. Do you want to own two houses or do you want to be homeless and own none? So I think what we have to look at is, first of all, make a plan. And that means you sit down with your realtor and you get a really honest opinion of what your house is worth, because you're going to need to know how much you're going to walk away with at the end of a sale, so that when you're looking at purchasing and you sit down with your lender, you'll know what price range you can look at as far as buying a house. So number one, first thing to do is make a plan. And that means finding a realtor that you trust, who knows the market and understands what you're doing. And then also working with a trusted lender, because there's some really wonderful programs out there that can help you buy before you sell. So number one is make a plan. Yeah, number two is get your house ready to sell. So your realtor, and when you're making your plan, can also include a lot of that good information. Maybe bring in a stager, maybe bring in a decorator, but get your house ready to sell so that when you do put it on the market, you'll get the most you can for it.
Pat, this makes perfect sense, because if you sort of compare it to buying a car, right? You want to trade in your car and you want it to be looking as good as possible so you get the biggest possible trade-in. And then you wouldn't go shopping for a car unless you knew how much you can afford. And so this makes perfect sense. But something you said a moment ago, you want to find out how much you might be able to sell your current house for. And I imagine after that huge run-up in equity in the past few years, that's usually a pretty good conversation to have with people.
It is. But we have to remember that if you're selling in a seller's market, you're also buying in a seller's market. And if you're selling in a buyer's market where you're not going to get quite as much, you're going to be buying in a buyer's market where you're going to be able to get a little bit better deal. So each market has its pluses and minuses, and that's why you need a realtor to come in and help you know what kind of market you're in. Are you going to be able to sell high and buy low, not if it's a seller's market. So understanding the marketplace is really good too. And that's where when you first sit down and make your plan, that's when you discuss that.
Now, Pat, earlier you said that you have to make a choice between whether you want to own two homes simultaneously, meaning you still have your existing home, but you buy your next one,
Mhm.
and then you sell your existing home, or do you want to be homeless for a while, which is sell your current home fast and then find your next place? What happens most often, and do you have any advice on which is a better option?
Yes, I think that stress is something we have to think about. And owning two homes is fairly stressful, especially if it's in the long run. Owning none is very stressful. So I think that's why we're saying sit down and make a plan. So the next step after sitting down, finding out how much you can get for your house is sitting down with a lender and looking at the various plans out there to help you purchase your dream house, still own your house, use the equity you have in as a down payment, and then selling your house. That way, you know you've got the house that you want, and you know what you're going to get for your house in the marketplace you're in, and that's the least stressful scenario.
I see.
So that's what we recommend here, especially if you're still in a fairly strong seller's market. That's what we're finding works really well with most of our clients. We sit down with a lender. They've got three or four really interesting, good programs, and you might want to have a few lenders on your show talking about some of these programs. Sometimes you just get a equity loan from the house that you're in and can go ahead and purchase a new house with that. And then as soon as your house sells, you pay it off. So there's just a lot of really stressless and interesting programs out there that will help you do that.
Now, Pat, using your home equity to put a down payment and buy your next house, that's a great idea. And then paying it off when you sell your main place.
Right.
But do we still see the old fashioned bridge loans
Yes.
where you
Yeah.
just get both? You
Oh,
have
yeah.
both houses?
Oh, definitely. Bridge loans, there's something called an equity first loan. They've got some really creative loans out there that are really legitimate, that some lenders really can help you with. That's why I'm saying when you sit down with this plan, you should know before you either buy something or before you put your house on the market what that plan is. Because then you can go ahead, find exactly what you want as far as a house, and then feel confident that you can put yours on the market and sell it.
And the other scenario that you mentioned at the beginning of our conversation was, or you can decide to be homeless,
Yes.
which of course would mean that you sell your house and it's gone
Yep.
and you don't have your next one yet, which
Right.
just tells me you might live in a hotel and you might get room service.
Yeah, that's possible. Or you could take a cruise for a while.
Right.
But I think that the thing that you have to think about there is when you sell your house, and one of the things that we are often doing is having a delayed possession, so that when you list it, you list your house saying, well, you can buy my house, but you can't move into it for 2 months, say. And that gives if the buyer doesn't want to do a home equity or a extra loan, that would give them the flexibility of a couple months of house hunting to find something that they feel comfortable with.
Oh, and that's a great strategy, especially in a seller's market,
Right.
because so many buyers would want that house. Many times they would be fine with just waiting a couple of months before they move in.
Exactly. So often we will do that if our clients are not comfortable with some of the other home equity products.
Okay. And Pat, another question about what happens to the life of the seller. Say that they do put their house on the market and, it's starting to generate some interest. Are they also looking at homes at the same time, or do they put that off?
Well, everybody's different. We find that most people are looking way, way, way before they even call us. They're on the internet and they're nosing around and looking where they should go or where they want to go. So I think it's pretty simultaneous.
I see. And Pat, what about when they find that house that they just plain love, but they haven't sold theirs yet? Now, would another seller allow them to take their house and get a ratified contract on it and get them off the market if they hadn't sold their first one yet?
Well, again, it depends on where you are in the marketplace. I would say a year ago, there wasn't a prayer. If you came in with an offer and it was contingent on the sale of your house, they wouldn't even look at you. Today's market is a little calmer than that. And we're seeing every once in a while that we could bring in a contingent offer if it's a very good one, and they would accept it, but they would also leave it on the market so that anybody else, if they wanted to buy it, could do that.
Which brings about the dreaded kick-out clause. Could you explain that for us, Pat?
Well, sure, you're making an offer and you have it signed and everything's ready to go, but it is contingent. Anybody can walk in, and whether their offer is more or less or any other scenarios with it, they can kick yours out and they can take the offer that's sitting in front of them.
And another scenario you see a lot, I'm sure, is that, yes, you put your house on the market and now you have an offer, but it hasn't sold yet. And then you start house hunting and you want to put another house under contract. Will that offer on your current house be enough to convince a seller that you're the real deal and you're going to go the whole distance to the closing table?
It depends, again, timing. So if you have an offer on your house and you've already gone through inspections and your inspections are clear, and if the buyer's getting a mortgage and they have been pre-approved and they're through the mortgage process, yes, more than likely a seller will say, okay, I will take mine off the market and accept yours and go to close. If those two scenarios aren't done, for instance, somebody just sold their house, they haven't gone through the inspection process, and the buyers aren't already approved through the bank with that house, and the appraisal isn't done, likely the seller in that house is going to say, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I'm not ready to accept this offer.
Right, because everyone wants a sure thing. They
Right.
want the closest thing to a guarantee that they can get.
Exactly.
And Pat, tell me, how often does this happen in your business where someone is selling one house and buying another simultaneously?
All the time. It's definitely all the time. I mean, every once in a while we get new buyers in from out of state and out of the country who are looking to buy, and that usually isn't a problem. A lot of times, if they're a relocation, the relocation company, even though they haven't sold their house, will guarantee it. So those are pretty easy buyers because the sellers will take their house off the market if we bring them an offer and it's a relocation company.
And Pat, what about the move? If I sell one house and I'm buying another, say in the same city, can I do a move in one day?
Yes. Is it crazy? Yes.
Really?
Yeah. The biggest problem is finding a mover because they're busy too. But yeah, you can do it. What we like to do is have maybe a 5-day swing on the times that we set up in the contracts so that if you have a buyer that put in an offer, they give them 5 days of possession, that they can take those 5 days to move. So a lot of times that will work fine. It just depends. If it's an empty house, not a problem. If the sellers have to move before the buyers can get in, it's pretty hairy. It's been done, but we always like to give them a few days.
That is so interesting. And Pat, the fact that it happens all the time makes this such an important conversation because so many people, when they begin the process, they wonder, what do I do? And when do I do it? And how do I do it? And you have answered every one of those questions.
Great. Well, they often will do it backwards. So it's really good to have a plan, have your plan first. But the lure of the internet has gotten people a little crazy, and they're online looking for things and wishful thinking before they even know what they can do. So my recommendation is get yourself a realtor you trust, sit down with that realtor, put a plan together, and then dream on the internet.
That's great, because I imagine, Pat, that you do get situations in which someone comes to you and says, "Oh, Pat, I found the greatest house out in the country. I want to buy it, and to pay for it, I want to sell my house." You get that all the time, don't you?
Yep. More and more.
And do you just say, "Hold on, hotshot, slow down"?
Yeah. We'll definitely show it to them, but we need to sit down and have a little meeting about where we're going.
Well, Pat, once again, this is a very common scenario, and people really need to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And since you have done it so many times for your clients, I really want to thank you for being on the show today and explaining exactly what's involved in selling one house and buying another simultaneously. Pat, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for having me.
You're very welcome. Pat Vredevoogd Combs, the past president of the National Association of Realtors and the past president of the Michigan Realtors as well. Pat is with 5-star real estate leaders in Rockford and Traverse City, Michigan, and she's been helping her clients buy and sell properties for more than 50 years. Next time on Real Estate This Week, The Mortgage Show. Expert advice on how to get the best mortgage at the best rate just for you. We'll explain what to do and how to do it in any real estate market. And until then, I'm Stephen Gasque, and thank you for listening.
A brand new episode of Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque drops every weekend, everywhere. And you're invited to listen, subscribe, and follow us. Just look for Real Estate This Week with Stephen Gasque. The best real estate strategies out there, just for you.